Hi guys, this is Widgie. I promise you just can't see my face today. So today we'll be making my house in The Sims 4. This was kind of just supposed to be a practice build for me, seeing as I can count on like one hand the number of times I've actually built a house in The Sims. But I figured why not let you guys, just like witness the struggle really. Keep in mind that this video of the build is at 5 times speed, so you can truly understand how long this took me and just how complex I made it completely unnecessarily. The first bit of this struggle is just trying to get the shell right and get the sizing kind of accurate. Just because I've never built really in The Sims before, I had no concept of how much space furniture takes up and therefore had no idea how much room I'd actually need. And I really wanted to make this as close to life as I possibly could. Of course, there has to be like some artistic freedom because things in The Sims don't work like they do in real life. You don't have to account for closet space and stuff like that. You don't really have laundry or anything. But I wanted to make it as close as I could. I live in a very old, like 100-year-old, kind of very rundown farmhouse. So honestly, the way it's gonna look in The Sims is way cleaner and way nicer than it actually looks in real life, which is kind of sad. But I wanted to keep it accurate. So this ugly coloring for the roof, my roof is actually very rundown, like blue and green, tinny, gross roof, which they just don't have in The Sims. I don't know why. It's so aesthetically pleasing, and my outside walls are this very pale yellow. So I kept that the same. This was also really difficult for me to do because I was working completely without a reference, which I know sounds weird because you think you're recording in the house, you should see everything. But my PC setup is actually at my mom's place since my internet at my little boony farmhouse is simply not good enough to stream. So I couldn't just peek my head out the door and be like, where are the windows in my house? I just had no idea. So I did wind up missing some things and making some things pretty inaccurate. So I'll point out those discrepancies, whatever that word is, when we get there. You probably noticed that I actually had all of these rooms in place and then I went and deleted them all and then just redid them pretty much exactly the same. Again, am completely new. I thought that I had to make the outside, the exterior of the house all one room so that I could raise up the foundation. I don't think I actually had to do that, but I was like, I'll just delete the walls and rebuild it. So a lot of the things are just silly mistakes that you see me making because I truly am such a novice with building. I decided that I would start with my bedroom, which is the room I'm currently in, because I kind of just wanted to see if the furniture would fit. If I could get one room accurate to size, I thought it would be a lot easier to get the other rooms to size. I kind of thought wrong, but it was my method and it worked pretty well for me. So we're just gonna roll with it. The bed that I picked is kind of close. The frame is very similar, except for it's all black, but I wanted the red sheets because that's what I have. I had to include my fan, even though I'm not fancy enough to have an end table. It's just kind of chilling on the floor and is a giant box fan, but again, you have to have some creative freedom when you're building in The Sims. So yeah, did you also just see me enter in the cheats like 5 different times trying to get it right? Because if you didn't, man, this has just been a struggle. So again, you can see me constantly resizing this room because it felt weird to me. I was like, why does it seems like the right size in relation to the house, but when I'm inside, it seems so much bigger than it does in real life because I forgot that I don't have a closet. There's closets for both this room and the room bordering it that I simply don't have to include in The Sims. So I was trying to figure out how to make it true to life, but without the closet space, which greatly confused me because the office next door, which is currently a giant room in The Sims, is actually smaller than my bedroom. So I was having a very hard time. And now you see me resizing the entire house because I was like, how is this possible? This should not be this large. But I realized I just kind of had to roll with it and just kind of give myself some extra room in those rooms that doesn't actually exist in the real world. So now I'm gonna go in and actually put in the carpet and the walls. It's just white paint on the walls and a very, very old beige carpet. That is very true to life. It's much more stained in real life than it looks in The Sims, but you know, I'm kind of glad we don't have to include that feature. It's a feature, not a bug. The room itself is pretty bland, actually, and that's very true to life. I haven't really decorated. I have a very hard time kind of convincing myself it's okay to buy decor and fun things. So it is this bland. It is this bland in reality, if not more so. The plant in the corner, I actually have a hanging plant there called Leaf Erikson, but I don't think that there are any hanging plants in any of the packs that I have. I believe there might be one in another pack, and I need to look into that because I would love to get some hanging plants for The Sims. I think they're so cute and so fun. I decided, I guess, apparently, watching this bag, to zip on over to the other side of the house and take care of my kitchen. I felt pretty confident about what that looked like, and I wanted to get that done while it was still fresh in my head. I do actually have a pretty large kitchen, and it's really nice. The people who lived in this house, I think 2 tenants before me, actually remodeled the kitchen a little bit, so it's much nicer than the rest of the house and a little bit more updated. It's all white, which I love because it gives me the opportunity. I hope to eventually get like a pop of color in there. I really want yellow, and you'll see me kind of take more creative liberties later on and add some yellow things that don't actually exist in my kitchen currently, but in my dream world, they're there. So I don't have a dishwasher. I only have a sink, which is fine. It's actually become quite therapeutic to just wash my dishes in the sink. I thought I would hate it, but it's kind of nice to just get a little head weed and just do my dishes. My refrigerator is actually stuck over in that corner for some reason. It's very loud, and it just hangs out in its own space. I have a very small glass table right there up against the window. It's actually round, but I couldn't find a round glass table either. You guys feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, and these actually do exist in The Sims. They might not exist in the packs that I have, but I would love to expand my repertoire and get those. So I do have a little candle on the table as well that I pretty much never light, and you can see that I added yellow curtains. The curtains that I have in real life are hand-me-downs from my sister-in-law that are just gray and white, but in my dream world, I'll have nice freaking curtains, man. I was actually pretty excited about how well this kitchen was turning out as far as it looked pretty close to real life, but you can see right there, I just realized that I didn't have quite enough room for an archway that's to the left of the stove, as well as Rufus's food and water bowl, which are also to the left of the stove, so I kind of expanded the house a little bit. I'm really basing my proportions around the interior because I simply have no concept of space. So here I'm doing Rufus's little bowls. I spent way too long trying to get the mat just right. I was like, this does not look like his food mat. And he has a little holder, like a raised up holder for his food bowls. I cared way too much about this, clearly. But I wanted Rufus's little spot of the house, his little dining area, to look true to life as well. So I put the archway in there too. I was hunting here for a wall that looked like my kitchen walls, but I was having a hard time. It's kind of a white brick actually that is like horizontal and goes like that, kind of what just flashed briefly, but I couldn't find anything that looked quite right because it is a very plain white brick, and I think I did just land on doing white paint instead because I just couldn't find anything that was close enough. The floor is like an old linoleum, so that's very true. And I decided clearly that I decided that the curtains that I had put in before were hideous, so I went with a much brighter, happier, like more modern looking curtain instead of this like majestic, regal curtain that really doesn't suit me. So next I moved into the bathroom. My bathroom is very small. The shower in The Sims is so much nicer than my actual shower. My shower that I do have is very odd. It's kind of built into the wall, so the top part of the shower is actually wood. I don't know. It works though. It's fine. It's great, but it's very bizarre. I have a little window there with curtains, and then I just have that singular countertop with a sink in it. That's very true to life as well. The mirror that I have is bigger. I forgot to put lights above my mirror because I do have those, so that's something that's missing. Put a little trash can in there. That's also where like my plunger and all that kind of stuff goes, but sometimes in The Sims you just can't fit everything in there. The toilet paper I also struggled with. My toilet paper is on the side of that, why am I blanking on the word? The cabinet. And I don't think that you can do that in The Sims. If you guys know of a way to cheese having like an item attached to the side of a cupboard or a cabinet instead of the wall, please let me know, because that was actually something I struggled with later on in the kitchen. I wanted to put some towels, like kitchen towels, on the side of a cabinet, and I couldn't do that either. That nice, lovely little plant doesn't actually exist in my bathroom. That plant is actually my hot water tank. So that's what's actually there. It's much less aesthetically pleasing, but because I didn't know if there was a hot water tank in The Sims, I just put a nice plant in there because I freaking can. So I did. I also realized the bathroom was actually too large, so though I expanded the house on the one side for the kitchen, I just shrunk it on this side for the bathroom, so I probably could have thought a little bit better ahead, but, you know. I'm learning. There's a medicine cabinet above the toilet, and then there's a bit of storage right there. I actually just used a kitchen cabinet, which I'm kind of bummed about because I realize now that when you're looking at the room a certain way, the cabinet just disappears. You can't actually see it because it's hiding, quote, the walls stuff for you, so you can see through, which is a bummer, but that is kind of what it looks like, is that cabinet, so I kept it anyways. Here you can see me fiddling around with the roof a lot because obviously my changes inside, I wasn't realizing that that was changing things outside, so I had to mess around with that. And I also wanted to check and make sure the windows looked okay. So now we're going into what would be my office. This is where I very much went into dreamland. This office is painted blue like this because I did want my PC in here. I wanted this to be my streaming room. But unfortunately with the internet problems that I've been having, that was never the case. So this room is currently kind of just storage. And that seemed really boring to me to make in The Sims, so I decided to kind of make it into what it would be if it could be. Basically, if someday I have internet out there, fingers crossed for Starlink, that's good enough to stream, then this is kind of what I have in my head for what I wanted to do. I was trying to come up with a PC setup, like an L-shaped desk, like what I do have, and I was struggling because I couldn't find that, so I kind of, again, had some creative freedom here. I put like a table that The Sims will never be able to use, but I was like, that kind of looks like a streaming setup. I realized the evening after recording this video that they actually have, I think it's called like a video production table or something like that in one of the packs that I do own. That would have been pretty much exactly what I was looking for, but oh well. I just put a microphone in there, some clutter on the desk, and called it a day. It's close enough. It's basically the video thingy though, the table, the thing. You know what I'm talking about. I put a bookshelf in there as well because I really want like a bookshelf and decor. I love that the walls are bright blue. That really is what the colors are in real life, and I've always wanted a very plush green carpet to kind of give the illusion that I'm outside when I'm on my computer because sometimes you just wish you were outside instead, but you got work to do. So I also decorated the walls with some art because in my dream world, I would spend money on myself and I would make my little living space happy and bright, and it would be such a plant-filled, wonderful space to be. So I definitely, this room is not at all what it looks like in real life, but it looks like this in my head. So enjoy my musings. From here, I clearly got really distracted. I forgot I didn't put clutter on in the bathroom, like my toothbrush and stuff like that. And I tried really hard to place things like soaps and toothbrushes and lotions, and I eventually gave up because even holding Alt, I couldn't figure out, like, you can see me struggling through all of this. I was like, how do I place this coffee pot where I want to? And I was trying to figure these things out because I've seen people do them before, but I was just struggling too hard. So there was an effort, an attempt was made, it just didn't work out. So I do have a microwave over there, like I put down. I have a hot water pot to the left, not an actual like tea brewer like that, but it's close enough. Got my paper towel holder, got my dish rack, basically just the necessities of life that I have. And here, oh look, I'm struggling with cheats again. Oh, I remember what I did. I tried to turn debug on and look through all the objects that they have, and I just got overwhelmed. I don't know if I used anything from debug because I was like, oh my god, what is happening? So I clearly need to spend a little bit more time looking through those items because it was a lot. It's kind of crazy, all the items you have access to when you turn that on that you don't even realize. So yes, I do realize I put 2 containers with like wooden spoons in them. I do actually have 2 containers like that filled with spatulas and spoons and all sorts of weird things. So, you know, gotta make it accurate. The rug's not accurate though. That's another pop of yellow that I wish I had, but that I don't. Oh, and I did decide to put the coffee pot in there in the end. And I struggled with the soap again. I wanted it closer to the sink, like where it actually is in real life, but I couldn't. Got my trash can, got my recycling bin. And I think I was just, yeah, I think I once I added clutter to the bathroom, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot the kitchen too. So I think now those 2 rooms are done and I'm moving into the living room space. I put my TV on a coffee table. It's on like a very old hand-me-down entertainment center in real life, but again, you do what you can. So then I struggled to find a coffee table that was different from the table that the TV was resting on, but like still kind of matched with the wood color, and I took a long time trying to find something, and I was like, maybe I'll move the TV onto something else and use that coffee table for my coffee table, which, oh, it looks like that's what I did wind up doing. So yeah, I guess that was my decision at the end. There's like a little lamp in the corner there that's actually completely broken and doesn't work, but this lamp does look very accurate to what it is in real life, or pretty darn close to. I've got my little couch there for me and Rufus, and then I have a little storage area for like DVDs and books and video games, which is the table there that is actually kind of beat up looking in The Sims. So that's, that's more true to life. Picture everything in this house looking like that table and you've done it. The rest of my living room, oh heck, well, I went outside, I got distracted, so that doesn't sound like me at all. So I decided to add the front steps to the house, as well as the front door. I did forget there is a very large window right next to the front door, but it always has curtains over it, so people can't see inside because I'm paranoid. And I completely forgot to add that window in there. So there is a window to the left of the door. This fireplace doesn't really exist. It's actually a small wood stove, which is my main source of heating for the house. But since they don't have a little wood stove, I did put a very elegant looking fireplace. I chose this one because it has the red brick, which is accurate. There is red brick behind my wood stove, so that looked more like home to me. The carpet is like a gray, actually new carpet that I replaced myself this year, and there is hardwood flooring right there. It's kind of an odd look in real life, but I imagine that they did the hard flooring there so the wood stove wasn't sitting on carpet, because that seems a little dangerous. I had almost forgotten to add that window in too. I did remember it because, again, it always has curtains over it. Apparently, I'm just a little cave dweller. But, that's how it is sometimes. You don't want that glare. It's not just me. It's not just me that does it right. It's fine. I spent some time here looking for the appropriate clutter for the fireplace area. I was really looking for, like, your pokers, your ash bucket. I have a couple of like wooden crates that hold my kindling and my newspaper, which I actually found, like, those that I put just in there, those are pretty true to life of how I hold my kindling. And I also have like a sling to hold my firewood and all that kind of stuff, but I wasn't finding it easily and I kind of just gave up. Where I'm putting a plant in the corner is actually where my very small furnace is, so I do have a little bit of propane for the house, which is why I put a thermostat in. I just don't use it as often as the wood stove because it's expensive. And this corner now, I want it to be a little reading nook, so that's kind of what I'm making it into in The Sims, because you can do anything in The Sims. In reality right now, it just is it has a couple of random chairs that the previous tenant, aka my sister, left behind, and I'm not quite sure what to do with them, so they're kind of just sitting in that corner until I either figure out a place for them or sell them. I also put a rug in here to just add like some more, I don't know, life to the space, I suppose, because behind the couch right now too, there's just an old coffee table, a second coffee table that I don't know what to do with that also needs to be sold. So it's kind of just very cluttered in that room right now. Oh, and you could probably see I put Rufus's toy box in there too. So now I'm moving into this last room. I was trying to figure out here with this little doodad that I'm doing, there's actually stairs in that room that lead down to the bottom. So that room, half of the room, is not actually on the foundation. It's kind of odd, but I couldn't figure out how to split a room and have half on foundation, half off. So I just put the stairs outside, but that's not actually how it is. This is actually the mudroom / laundry room in real life. But again, I don't think there's a washer. I don't think there's a dryer. Unless you have the laundry stuff pack, maybe there's something in there, but I don't have that pack. So I was kind of like, what do I do with this space? And I believe my cat, who currently lives with my mom, is coming to live with me in about a month or so. So I think what I wound up doing with this room was adding like a cat tree, which you'll see later because I was so confused. I had these bins up there originally because that is where I store all of my laundry things and like soaps and stuff like that. So I was trying to make it accurate, but I gave up. Oh, and then I remembered I needed a console. I'm just all over the place. And then I came back to this room again and decided on the cat tree and remembered to remove there. All the things that I just explained are now happening real time. Bada bing, bada boom. But yeah, in reality, there's like a barrier there, like a little stairs up. There's a little handrail, and where the cat tree is my washer and dryer, and it's quite cramped. And I wanted to add these pipes or something that looked a little not super pleasant to look at because that's kind of that room in reality. So I just threw a pipe in there and called it a day. I also wanted to show the vines and like the leaf, like the overgrowth that's happening on the back side of the house, but I couldn't figure out how to put it on the foundation rather than the house itself. And I thought it looked kind of silly if it was just floating on the house but wasn't crawling up the foundation. So I gave up on that pretty fast and decided to move the house around and try to do some of like the landscaping. I originally wanted to spruce up the landscaping and again kind of make it look better in The Sims than it did in real life, and I pretty quickly threw out that idea, so you'll see that happen pretty soon. This walkway is also not what my house looks like. My house is quite a bit further off the road, but I didn't want to use a giant lot, and I kind of regret that now. I was trying to make the little pathway how it is, which is it runs to the left like that, then joins with my driveway, which goes down to the road. So you can kind of get out of your car, walk to the pathway, and go to the front door. But I just gave up and connected it to the sidewalk in The Sims. And now I'm adding all the dead rose bushes, which is true. There are dead rose bushes on the side of my house. They do bloom a little bit, but they don't look good. I just moved into this house a couple of months ago, and the yard and the garden areas were completely overgrown and just not taken care of. And I just haven't had the time to go dig everything up. I haven't had the money to buy all the weed killer and stuff like that. So it pretty much, I just had fun adding a ton of dead looking old ferns and old flowers and whatever the heck else to really make this look true to life. You can see me adding some things in now that are clearly clipping through the house. I didn't realize that till later, but some of these things were removed later on when I tried to walk through the house and realized that there were bushes sticking into my bed. So those got taken out eventually. But yeah, that's pretty much the house. I attempted to do a walkthrough here for you guys. It is incredibly painful because look at my camera control. It's just incredible how well I move this camera. But I actually was quite pleased with how it turned out as far as it does when I look at it right now in The Sims, it does remind me of home. So that makes me smile. But yeah, thank you so much, you guys, for watching me. Oh, hey, look, those are some of those bushes I was talking about. Thank you so much for joining me on this adventure. It was really fun to recreate my house. I feel like I did learn a lot about building and kind of learned more about what items I have available to me. So it was a lot of fun. Thank you so much, you guys. Enjoy the rest of this walkthrough, and I'll see you in the next video, which will hopefully be very improved over this one. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you guys next time.